Kobold, I'm sad.
What's wrong?
Our hobby is doomed. D&D is dying. We might become homeless again.
No, that's wrong. There is a divide currently happening, but we've gone through this many times before. Although, to be honest, I feel like we're entering into the silver age of tabletop RPGs currently, which I find kinda strange, because our technology for tabletop RPGs is getting crazy advanced. Prepping for games have never ever been this easy before for DMs. Learning to play different tabletop games is easier now for everyone. Even coming up with whole campaigns takes like maybe an hour now. It's incredibly easy to turn them into runnable drafts. That's right, AI like ChatGTP. I'm pretty sure majority of people are now using AI for their games, be it arts for tokens, or coming up with ideas, or what have you. Creativity in our tabletop RPGs has changed forever. I of course have opinions as a content creator because it has hurt my channel, but my opinion really doesn't matter. The genie is out of the bottle and it's gonna get crazier. There's nothing I can do about it. And I think majority of you actually don't care what the content creator has to say about the matter. So instead, let's talk about the positive, which I think is fascinating. I've noticed a lot of DMs have become a lot more descriptive with their scenes and less stressed overall. They've become a lot more confident with their preps. When I asked them about it, all of them said they're using ChatGTP. So it's actually making our games better. Most DMs aren't wordsmiths or great fantasy writers or anything. AI is fairly good at it, and it's really easy to bounce ideas off it, which makes DMs super happy. And when the DMs are happy, the games are better. Prepping for games have never ever been this easy before, and the games just feel better gameplay-wise. It's crazy, like they're way more immersive now. Not only are average DMs and players more versed in the games than what they were in the past, but the games are also enhanced by AI and fancy VTTs. Table optimization is crazy now on the internet, and it's gonna get better and better and better and better. I would argue now's the absolute best time to get into tabletop RPGs as a player or DM if you're a regular person, because of how easy everything is now. There's a million guides everywhere from all kinds of people. I have a huge catalog for players about almost everything. Justin Alexander released the greatest DM book in existence. It's a perfect guide to DM optimization. I highly recommend it. Then there's AI for prepper ideas. And then there's Baldur's Gate 3, the best CRPG on planet Earth right now. The list goes on. There is so much. The tabletop hobby isn't failing. It's evolving massively, and so are players and DMs. The content, the communities, and the technology we have now is a million times better than what we had like a few years ago. And especially 15 years ago when I got into the hobby. It's day and night. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where, man, you know what, I'm gonna say it. People are getting farmed with negative shit. Tabletop gaming has been around for 50 years, guys. People are spreading doom right now, but the truth is our hobby will never die. D&D YouTube will never die. Even if Wizards of the Coast somehow dies, the hobby will survive. Right now, it's just changing. The tabletop communities are different from what it was a few years ago. And so is our technology we use for our games. Even if this channel somehow dies and I stop being a public kobold, I'll still be in the shadows playing tabletop games and be active in the community through Reddit, VTT forums, Discords, and what have you. To be honest, I see myself playing even more games if I quit. I'll probably become a pay-to-play DM, I don't know. There will always be a demand for this sort of gaming because it's a very unique experience where you have more creative freedom freedom than any game in the world. You can potentially do and say whatever you want, and that will impact the game. It's so personal. Tabletop RPGs is the greatest immersive sims in existence, and this was figured out in the 80s. The sandbox these games offer are brilliant. It's exactly why I play them. It's so cool.
These dice are cool too.
It's us. We want to play more games, so we've been abusing Simulacrum to make tons of copies of ourselves.
We only play 3 games a week, which is not enough.
Yeah, we want to be super gamers and play 100 games a week. Trust me guys, we're really good at rolling around and we're fair. I don't know about Gator though, he's a little bit of a griefer.
Failure makes for funny memes though.
I can't deny that, and some failure is part of storytelling. Anyways guys, we need your help. We need 500 more people to follow this on BackerKit to get these dice rolling. That way we can start the campaign properly. Follow the dice sets on BackerKit if you're interested in having your own little optimizers. All we need is 500 more followers and we're power gaming. Back to the video. The point is, the only thing that's really changed for average tabletop gamers is our knowledge about these games and the technology we use to enhance our games. Other than that, majority of people still play gated tables like they did in the 80s. You know, 3 to 6 players and a DM around the table, or through a VTT. Well, there was no VTTs in the 80s, but you know what I mean. Anyways, the table you're playing at is the only thing that matters. The internet doesn't. The tabletop RPG community on the internet is secondary. Your table is the true meta of D&D. If your table dies, D&D is dead. And then you have to scavenge for a new table, which takes a week or 2. Which brings me to VTTs. I'm in Norway. I live in a ghost town. There's barely a tabletop scene here. There's only like 5 million people living in Norway. With the internet, I can play with anybody in the world, really. That's a lot of tables. D&D itself is older than the World Wide Web, and it's still going. That's incredible. When I joined the scene in 2010, VTTs were really bad. Then Roll20 blew up in 2015, and it changed everything. This was cutting edge technology at the time. And now we have Foundry, which is even better, but I still use Roll20 because I'm used to Roll20. And then we have Wizards of the Coast sinking millions into their own VTT with Hasbro on their side. Technology is making our games better in every single way. Even creating our character sheets is easier now because of like D&D Beyond with the character builders, or just PDFs that autofill stuff for you. I think you get the point. We're way more optimized now. 15 years ago, when Pathfinder 1 and 3.5 were the dominant games, the scene back then was completely different from what it is now. The average player and DM were like cavemen, and the average games were god-awful gameplay-wise. Every single Pathfinder 1 game I played in crashed and burned, and I played for a good 4 years consistently. Majority of table deaths were arguing about rules. No one agreed with anything back then, even on the most basic shit you can imagine. And a lot of them failed at basic tabletop etiquette. As for Wizards of the Coast, they were basically at their lowest when I started. Gary Gygax died in the same year 4E came out, which was 2008. And people did not like 4E back then. Eventually 5E came out, and like 2-3 years after that, it blew up. I was deep into Call of Cthulhu 7E for a good 2 years at the time, so I wasn't really paying too much attention to the scene. I was focusing on the games, which is more important. I can ramble on and on. I don't believe we will ever go back to something like 2010 tabletop community scene, especially with how fast our technology is advancing. Things might look dark right now. Wow, it's dark everywhere, but like, come on, guys. So long as we swim a little, we'll eventually see the light. And hey, maybe we'll end up in a different golden age of tabletop games. If not, okay, we just play games. We still have our weekly games, guys. That's all that counts. Try not to get sucked into the doom the internet spreads. It's depressing slop. And if you bring that up to the doomsayers, they'll agree with you. What they won't tell you directly is that you're being farmed for engagement, and it works. Negativity is very infectious and unavoidable, especially on the internet, and it's gonna get worse. It's okay to be mad sometimes, but keep in mind, negativity is very suboptimal and makes you do and say really stupid things, especially at tables. If you say stupid things at the table enough times, D&D dies. Same applies to our internet scene. If it's full of negative stuff, nobody wants to engage in our community. The optimal play is to power game with a good amount of positivity. Just don't take it too far though. We don't want toxic positivity. That's annoying. Positivity is not as infectious or easy to do, but it keeps you in the games because people like you. So long as you keep playing, D&D is alive and well. All you need is 3 to 6 good, warm human beings. End of video. Don't forget to check out the Kobold and Gator dice. There's some additional information there. We need like 500 more followers and then we can get the dice rolling faster. Anyways, thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.